Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's so great to have you all back with me on The Highway to Scale, a podcast in which we explore the ins and outs of business success and where we cover topics like validating business ideas, exploring different management styles, building products, launching them on the market, raising capital, and scaling your business. Now, before we get to the main part, please consider subscribing and get in touch with me if you want to be a guest on the show. In today's episode, I'm joined by Evgeny, who is the CEO of Spoko.app, a company that enables its users to simply, securely, and instantly transfer money between more than 100 countries. Since they launched, they raised more than $7 million of outside capital, their active user base grew to more than 500,000, and they are on their way to becoming a major player in the remittance market. In this podcast, Evgeny will tell us what kinds of investors should new startup owners look to attract, and we'll discuss the importance of being local when it comes to tailoring your services for users in a new market. So let's cut the intro and let's jump right into the episode to see what Evgeny can teach us about building a business. Evgeny, thanks for joining me on the podcast. It's so great to have you here on the show.
Hello, Dorian. Thank you, and nice to meet you as well.
Before we dig deeper into your business and the way you operate, can you tell me a bit more about Spoko.app as a company? How did you start?
Sure. So today, Spoko is an international payments company which is operating in all 35 European countries, and we deliver money up to 120 countries around the world. And at the beginning of our journey, we have started with two corridors. It was a corridor between Poland and Ukraine, where Ukrainian immigrants, which are actively coming to Europe, used Spoko to send money home. So, and it was our beginning. We have launched 1.5 years ago with those two corridors, and 1 year ago we have launched fully with our all destinations which we have, with the idea that we want to become a new global leader which is providing international money transfers.
Nice. So what are you currently focused on?
So our goal is to become in next 3 years top lead in Europe with more than 4 million customers. Right now we are working and focusing on countries like Nigeria, Ghana, India, Brazil. We see really huge potential with Turkey, with these countries like Russia, Georgia, and others from those regions. And to simplify, our goal is to continue stay local, because one of our main advantages why people chose Spoko. This is from the reason that we are providing local payment methods where customers can choose how they wish to pay with local payment methods which they know. Because what we see that mostly of fintechs and banks, they are using one-two golden model for payments and for money transfers, like send money from bank account to bank account or send money cash to cash, and that's all. So they are very limited. And what we see that we are using mostly a commerce model when customers can choose how they wish to pay for the transfer. They can choose their bank account, their banking card. They can choose Trustly, Sofort, and other different payment options, which is Spoko offering to customers.
I like that mindset and I like that approach, because when it comes to transferring money, it's always that aspect. Okay, is everything going to be safe? So with your app, basically you increase that level of trust. Okay, I'm using something that I'm familiar with.
Yeah, so today what we see that with high competitive market like fintechs and neobanks, you should always deeply understand your customer and his needs. So, and most of immigrants, they have limited knowledge and instruments with payments, and they understand the local payment methods. Just for a couple examples, 30% of India population is still unbanked, and they're mostly using and receiving money in cash. In Ghana, the most important way how to receive international payment, this is e-wallet, where customer prefer directly to get money into his mobile. So, and there are a lot of different combinations. We don't see that one or two model will works. And what we do, that we integrating more than 13 different payment options, and based from payment corridor, when customer is sending money from Italy or Nigeria or from Poland to Ukraine, we are matching the best option to the customer and offering him in our app or on the website.
So is that approach maybe affecting your ability to scale your company?
Sure. So right now for us, expansion is not so high priority as quality. So and we want to always be localized, focused, and always we are partnership with local heroes on the market, on the region, which are providing us not only cheap payment methods, but knowledge of the markets and understanding how to providing this payment option with the best conversion to the customer. So it's global companies which are not from European region, but mostly from US, which are focusing on aggressive expansion. They don't understand those local specific. And that's why they think that one-two solution will work everywhere.
Can we talk a bit about all of the investments? You raised somewhere around $7 million. Can you tell me what that process looked like and what kind of investors were you looking to attract?
So when you are launching the business, this is one of the most difficult process when you are raising your first round. And normally, fintechs from the beginning, they have minimum 1 or 2 million euro just for the pitch deck. We had another situation because we wanted to launch fast, and our first 100,000 euro was provided by business angels in Poland. And we fully don't believe in VC on early stage level. We don't believe on VC investments on early scaling stage as well. So, and after our first raising, we have raised money from Fintech Ventures S.A. This is Polish company which is investing in fintech, in payments and neobank solutions. And now they are main investor Spoko, and today we are still raising. So, and finally we have raised 5 million euro. We have closed 1.5 2 months ago. So right now we are raising, and when business is scaling, you are in a raising moment every day. So no matter if you closed money or you have money, you're always thinking about next rounds, about how to speed your growth and how to provide new products, etc., etc.
Can you tell me what are your thoughts on bootstrapping as opposed to raising outside capital?
I don't believe in that because with bootstrapping, it's it's always you just calculate your time, your go-to-market process, and all this stuff. But in European region, I totally don't believe in bootstrapping. So I believe that if you want to raise money fast and you want to have and build an MVP in 6 months, you should raise money only from business angels and from private investors. So with first performance traction, it's much more easier to talk with venture funds as well. But I don't like their processes and how they manipulate with startups as well on early stage to get as much as they can. So, and it's always depends where you are, and with first traction and with good tempo of growth, it's much more easier, of course.
So, what are some of your current plans? With the investment, what are you looking to do? What will be your next steps?
So our next steps that right now we are still raising money. We are raising 5 million euro to increase our speed this year and to start launching new features and services with our product. In second quarter of next year, we want to start our round A, and then we will see.
Okay, great. Let's focus on the industry. We can say that you're a growing player in the remittance. Can you tell me more about its current state?
So current state of the market that today, if to analyze in next 5 years period, we see that cross-border remittance, which is provided by immigrants and people which are traveling around the world, is 2 times more perspective than neobanks. Because the booming of neobanks have started 4 or 5 years ago with N26, Revolut, and others. And the problem is that today in Europe, more than 120 million immigrants from different regions, and most of them still can be onboarded by neobanks, from the reason that they are not European customer and non-legalized. And the service which are needed to them, of course, they need bank account, they need daily banking services. But second, what they're usually using, this is cross-border remittance when they're sending money home. And what we see that approach on the market, that today global neobanks, they are super great with their ecosystem and with their products, with their in-house payments when customers sending money between their own accounts. But with international cross-border remittance, they are still limited and they are operating like classical banks. What we see that companies like Wise, they will become, next leaders. So, and we follow them as much as we can. And if you see fully remittance, digital channels and digital remittance is much more growing than cash remittance. And I think that in next 10-15 years, all top leaders like Western Union, RIA, and MoneyGram, they will just lose their position fully. They are now losing with different reasons, not only from COVID perspective, but from their non-being in mobile. So they are providing apps, but this is drama story.
So how did the COVID pandemic, affect you as a company and the entire market? Do you have some, specific insights?
So our specific insight was that mostly of that cross-border international payments, they continue to be, from the reasons that most of customers couldn't travel and come back to their home like Ukrainians, which are coming to Poland for 3-4 months. Then they come back to Ukraine for 1 month's rest, and then they coming back. So they always traveling. And what we see that with Spoko statistic, the real growth we have started generate on COVID period when customers just tried to find and use instant instrument to send money home with no long procedures, with no cash, and they're using mostly digital operators.
And the entire process, of increased digitalization that COVID brought to the world, did it have a positive impact on your business?
Yeah, of course. And, I see that previously a lot of different cashless programs before the COVID have started. And, 5 years ago, maybe cash was a king. But right now, what we see that digital instruments and payment methods with international remittance, this is a trend. With cross-border remittance, each trend is going, for last 10-15 years. And this is something where customers are traveling and immigrants are traveling between countries, and they need borderless solution for their needs.
So, can you tell me which countries are, the largest users, let's say, of the type of apps such as Spoko?
So the most prospective region right now for us, this is Poland, Italy and Germany as well, and we are starting to generate good results in France. So we don't believe in UK right now as much as we believe in UK 1 year ago. Delivery countries and regions where customers are sending money. So most of them are African countries like Nigeria, Ghana. Today are in the top with people choice. Ukraine and Russia as well. We see that right now Brazilian customers are finding Spoko just with organic channels, and we don't have any paid performance there, and we generate good results with Brazil as well. So, but right now we are focusing on top 3 payment corridors. As I mentioned, we want to focus on quality, and we don't have, speed the game to launch as much as we can. So every corridor we are launching with a lot of different procedures, a little bit bureaucratic, but it helps us to, don't to fail.
Okay. Now that you mentioned, users from Brazil, can you tell me what does your lead generation process look like, and what does your sales process look like? How do you reach new customers? How do you reach new users?
So first, we optimize payment process, and we see how, and we analyze how to provide this payment and transactional process faster, because from the receiving perspective, it's always depends to which country customer is sending money, because in Brazil, in India, or in Nigeria, there are like different receiving options how customer can receive their money, and every local banking system needs their own data and different data. So that I don't know, Nigeria will receive from you 2 or 3 additional information, when Turkey will receive from you only 1 information. So, and it's always depends. but we are optimizing. First, we are optimizing those transactional process. Second, we are analyzing local specifics and local hacks, how customers are searching services and how immigrants are looking for new services or which fintechs they're using right now. Of course, what we do that we localize this our app with language, with local customer support. We are preparing with that a lot. And our first campaign, it's based from how market is educated or not. So, and what we see that most of customers which have bank accounts and which can send money online, they're still using cash models where they can choose Western Union and send money in cash. And they waste time and money with that. And we understand that those type of customers should be educated with additional promo, with additional marketing as well. But for us, we are always launching new corridor with the audience, which is interested in remittance and which is using already our competitors or online solution for send money home.
Okay, so do you maybe have insights on what kind of effect do all of these transfers have on the countries that are receiving the money?
So for banks and banking systems which are receiving those payments, and for full country, it's always a huge benefit to collect payments from another region to their own country. So, and from the head of this process for banks and for the local government, it's always priority to receive as much as they can and to collect as much as they can. And what we see that most of customers, they're sending money between their own accounts just to cover credits or bills. Groups are sending money to support their family or to just for some medicine, and it's always depends. But most of cases are urgent, and that's why we see that those needs of instant delivery is one of the most priority to customers. They want to get money instant. So
what were some of the biggest challenges that your company has gone through over the years?
So today with tax company, with fintechs as well, there is not a challenge to get on and to build on infrastructure with license as well. Because today the competition is going to volumes and to active customers which are loyal to a service and which are using your service on daily, weekly, monthly activity. Today's competition for the customer, not for the service and not for the technology, because most of technology which you see and using in your bank, all those technologies are based from banks. And it's only in the front way, it's presented in a much more convenient way with lower pricing and better UX. But with our case, what challenges we have right now? That first, of course, this is with expansion, where we should hire people. And right now, we are still a really small team, and we'll start our first hiring. I know that most of companies and fintechs on their first scaling, they face with those types of issues. So another what I see is that we are dreaming about US in 2 years to launch the biggest corridors, money transfers from US to Mexico, from US to India as well. And for delivery, we are already ready. We have cooperation with India banks and with banks from Mexico. And we are ready to deliver the money, but we don't ready for US. Today's competition for the customer, and customers already are using a lot of fintechs. And you should define it to them why they should use Spoko, and what the benefits and what and other services they can get if they will use it today.
Okay, you mentioned expanding to US. A lot of CEOs that I talk to are very careful when it comes to, expanding to US. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it depends from the business model, from the business type as well, and what you are offering. With B2B products, it's much more difficult than with consumer services. And with fintech, what I see is that there are just couple fintechs which we know and which are popular for those huge and the biggest market, but most of them are still using classical models of international payments, classical models of acquiring and of payout. So, and what I feel is that because US, they're aggressive and they you just should be prepared with a great team and with good capital.
Yeah. When you go to US, you really need to be prepared to handle all of that pressure, all of that competition. So when it comes to the future of the entire remittance market, what do you see? What do you expect?
So I expect that mostly of payment operation will go to messengers.
Okay.
But what I see that today, most of messengers, they are starting to test those types of services like WhatsApp in India or like Telegram right now. But they don't have use cases right now because, when customers are sending messages, this is not the same when customers are sending money. I think that mostly of banking services will go to messengers and will be diversified via different channels, not only via banking app, but I think that finally will be top 3-5 global super apps, not for one region, but borderless just for global, which will be centric ecosystem for all financial needs with lifestyle services as well, and with those diversification via different channels.
Do you see Spoko as integrating with some of those messengers?
Not today. I think that today the market is not ready for that, and our customers, which are immigrants as well, because they're just facing with their first mobile banks apps, with first fintech apps, and they will not understand how to use it and how to react. So maybe Facebook with the initiatives which they have with blockchain projects and with neobank projects, I believe in that, in Libra, and I think that they will become new leader, not for all financial services, but for mostly payments. What I see is that, financial services, they are today already in every service, in every purchase, in every step where people just go. So, and you're always buying something, you're always using your phone, you're always using your card. I think that there is always an answer with scale, that which companies can provide the scaling faster than others. But I'm still believing small companies which are not followed by those global guys, because local teams with their quality, they become a local leader. The same like with Allegro in Poland, which is the hugest e-commerce, and when Amazon just can't launch from the reason that they are quality service with best market position. A case when you understand customer needs, and when you can follow the best solutions at cases which are, and you can localize those services to those customers with their pain, with their needs, and with understanding that, for example, he will not pay with his card, but he will pay with PayPal. So why you're offering to him a banking card? So, and I think that those local knowledge in a long-term perspective, it's much more better than aggressive expansion in a short-term perspective.
Okay, we talked about your company. We talked about the entire market. Let's talk a little bit about you, especially your position as a CEO. What are you currently focused on the most?
It always depends from the stage. Okay. I'm fully focusing, on operations, on fintech, on product as well, but not so much as my founder Alex. So I'm focusing on global picture as well, where Spoko can be in 5-10 years, and how we can deliver results with which investors, with which partners, and of course team. So, and how to hire the best team members, how to motivate them, and how to boom the market together. So this is the answer. I can say that I'm responsible for one to think. So I'm everywhere, and always I am defined to myself what is the highest priority, and what topics can be solved by myself in 1 month, but not today.
How would you describe your management style?
You know what? I have analyzed about just 1-2 weeks ago that for last time, what I see that on those type of period where you are, I'm a little bit aggressive, little bit, but I'm trying to be. So I'm not a friend to my team members. I try to be more colleague, which is solving problems when they need, and of course I try to understand where we have negative performance, where we can change something with processes, or where we should recruit more people. So, but it's always, as I told, it's always depends from the period where you are and on which areas you're focusing right now.
So we're almost at the end of our time. So I got just a couple of more questions. The first one is, what advice would you give to new startup owners?
Be realistic. It's first. Of course, you should have dreams, you should have goals, but with your situation and with understanding where you are, you should be always realistic. And second, what I think that it's don't hunting for VC on your first, second round. Before the round A, you should focusing on fast and smart money, which finally will give you first traction, and which will follow you to professional and round A. So, mostly, I think that first deals and first capital should be focused on private investors. So, and third, this is to try to provide tests, talk with customers, talk with people, and to understand that your ideas are understandable by them, and they can use it, they can buy it, and they can share this with their friends as well.
Yeah, Yeah, that's a great insight, because a lot of people forget about that part. If you don't have users, who understand your product, it has no value.
Innovations, they are bringing a lot of new ideas and cases, but innovations, you should understand that it's always long-term perspective with minimum 7-10 years. So when you will generate really great results. So, and if you want to generate faster, I think that it's much more easier to be a follower of innovators. And understand where they have pain problems and what you can provide better.
One last question: what are your plans? What's the big picture? We talked about expanding to US. What are some of the other things?
So, picture and our coming features that Spoko will be borderless super app for not only financial needs, but for lifestyle needs for the customers, focusing still on immigrants and people which live global lives. And what we want to do, that we want to provide all daily banking services, which are normal to be a banking user and to have a bank account with local currency and to use a banking card to money transfers and to daily purchases. But mostly on what we want to focus, this is on scoring our customers and on providing them products which cannot be provided by fintechs and neobanks which don't have immigrants data, which is mostly providing by remittance and money transfers. So, and I don't like to tell everyone what we want to do before we will not launch it. But I think that in 6-7 months, so we can talk, in with more details. But our big picture is nice. So we are follow up and following WeChat a lot. So, and we are mostly focusing on this model than on only to be remittance. But remittance, this is our short-term strategy, and this is the most important product for us in next 2 years.
Okay, great. I'll be looking forward to what happens in 6 to 7 months. Okay, Evgeny, thanks so much for joining me on the podcast.
Thank you, Dorian.
And we are done. If you stuck with us until the end, here are a few key takeaways from this episode that I want you to remember. Number 1, when looking to attract outside capital for your new company, go for investors that will provide you with the know-how and the traction necessary to further scale your company. Number 2, innovations are long-term perspectives, but to achieve success, you don't always need to be an innovator. You can follow others and their innovations, and if you can detect what their solutions are lacking, you can turn that into your competitive advantage. And number 3, understand the local specifics of your markets. Providing users in one market with a tailored service based on something they are familiar with can be more difficult to set up initially, but is extremely beneficial in the long run. Now, before you sign off, don't forget to subscribe so you get notified when we publish new episodes, and leave us a review if you enjoyed this podcast and learned something new. It will be highly appreciated. Also, if you want to be a guest on the show, shoot me an email or hit me up on LinkedIn. My contact information is down in the description. And that's it. I'm Dorian, you've been listening to Highway to Scale, and I'll see you all in the next episode.